I'm David Smith, Mason County Department of Public Works. And we got a call from a student at the school down here in Shelton, and the recommendation from the student was to put in a walkway on Shelton Springs Road. And we got to looking at it, and we drive through there fairly often, and we were surprised at the number of people who walk there. And we actually thought it was a really good idea. And so we started looking into it a little further to see if it was something that we could do. And we walked it a few times and realized that it would be fairly easy to do. And so that's what we would like to present as that walkway. It would be constructed by the county and county staff. It would be in, I believe it's the porch right away. And I didn't bring a whole bunch of stuff. This is going to be a maintenance project. I don't have a bunch of engineered documents and plans like we typically would do with a road project, but we do have a plan view of it that shows the alignment of it. And I just wanted to run this by the commissioners, see if it's something that they may be interested in. And I have a large drawing and a small drawing. If you don't mind, I'll just put one there and you can pass it along. And
I could make copies too.
Is this an extension of the current walkway from Wallace Nealon?
Yes.
The same construction materials and same kind of...
Well, I'm actually not that familiar with all the construction material from the beginning of it, but this will be paved, an 8-foot paved walkway. I don't know if the whole thing from Wallace Nealon is paved with asphalt, but that's our proposal.
It should be, yeah.
Stops at the high school.
Wendy's making some coffee.
Okay, good,
So you can look at that.
good.
And so when it comes up to Mason, or to Island Lake Road there, it'll be a crosswalk. Looking at putting a crosswalk there and on both legs on 2 of the 3 legs of the intersection. We haven't exactly finalized the total design of that, but it will be
Thank you.
a pedestrian crossing there.
Would it be one of those signal crossings?
Yeah, it'll be some sort of a signal crossing,
There's
yeah.
a button and you flash the lights?
Yeah, most likely.
And hopefully in-road strobes. The ones that the plows won't chip off, but can be seen, day and night through, at the road crossing.
Yeah, well, like I said, we haven't finalized that design yet. Those are all things that we're looking at for that crossing there, but we haven't come up with a total design for it, but the idea is it will be some sort of a crossing there.
Okay.
Yeah, my main concern is the safety of people of all ages, not just the children and the elderly or disabled, but for everybody. The more safety access we can put in, or process we can put in, the better.
Yeah, we agree 100%. That's what we're going to try to do is design something that, can accommodate everybody that will be using it.
How does it affect, don't we have a little, isn't that a right-of-way right there with a gate on it? An easement
With
to?
Sam's side.
Yeah, with Sam's side. How does it affect that, Brandon?
So probably so there's there's kind of an apron there going to the side property right now. I think the port would probably like to see a paved apron that would extend, from the existing Shelton Springs Road edge of pavement to beyond the proposed paved pathway, just so we don't have, erosion issues and things. It probably would need to have that slightly regraded based on the draft drawings I've looked at that the county's provided, which are of course preliminary.
That's that access road right to the west of the high school? You're talking about that?
Yeah.
It's right
exactly.
across from Terrebonne, yeah.
Right.
Yep. And then there's one other access that we have closer to Island Lake Road there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see it right there.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it looks totally doable. So.
And it has no effect on the FAA
No.
restrictions?
No.
That
Okay.
was my next question, is will they
Keep out.
holler at us
Yeah,
for
so
putting
this is-
pedestrians in the flight path?
But they're
Yeah.
there anyway. They're still walking it right now.
Yeah.
alongside the road.
Yeah, and it would just be an easement for, access, just for the trail. It's not, we're not talking about a utility easement or any other.
I know that there's at least 50 kids that walk every other day from the high school, or junior high, up to that Presbyterian church for evening events.
Mhm.
And so it's ongoing all the time. Is there any discussion to extend this all the way down to 101?
Yes, we're looking at doing an extension. We got to deal with the church there where this terminates, and then, but we are considering looking at putting in a pedestrian facility all the way out to 101. Yep.
Wonderful.
Regarding that church, the fence line along the west edge of the church property, that's actually offset quite a ways from their property line, so it's a port fence line, so that we can mow on either side of it. So there's probably room along our fence to extend the trail if that was something we were gonna do.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they were gonna put it alongside the road. I think the idea was to put it alongside the road, but if there's room somewhere else, then we'll certainly consider it, yeah.
It doesn't interfere at all with our fence along there, right?
Sure,
No.
doesn't look like it.
I personally, I like this. It's been needed for a long time, I think,
Absolutely.
for the community.
Can I comment?
Yeah, sure.
The one thing that thanks, Dick.
We're gonna stop.
The one thing that I do see here is when I walk this daily, and when you come in here to Island Lake Cutoff Road, the traffic, you're supposed to walk against the traffic. What you guys are doing is entering this, coming the other direction so that it's back, so that now having to cross again. Is there any way to bring this over here? So as we're walking, or anybody's walking, they're not walking with traffic, they're facing it?
You're saying instead of having a crosswalk on that side of the intersection, have it on a different one?
My understanding is, as a pedestrian, when you're walking, you walk facing the traffic so you can see what's going on. That is not what this is gonna do. This, if I'm coming this direction, walking around the lake, this is going to kick me going the wrong direction, which means there's another cross.
I think the rule about walking against the traffic is if you're like on the shoulder, this is gonna be offset from the roadway by probably 20 feet.
Correct. Because right now, I walk the shoulder, which I agree is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Cars are doing 40, 50 miles an hour, and they're going over that white line constantly.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will go up on that dirt trail that's there, however, it's not super smooth. But I guess if you're coming this direction, then you're still going against the traffic.
Yeah.
This entrance here going onto Island Lake would be better, to me, would be better off to go to the opposite side of the road.
So I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah,
not really following what you're saying.
So what he's saying is instead of having the crosswalk where it's depicted, have it
Have it
further
on the other side of the
north.
lake, yeah.
Yeah. And I had that, I actually had that same thought when I first saw
Oh,
this too.
yeah, ask them all that.
Just because the cars that are, coming off of Shelton Springs and taking a right on the Island Lake Road.
And when this enters, you're on a curve, so it's hard to see. I crossed clear back over here before the church, so that I got a good line of sight to see what's coming around that corner myself, and at least bring it up here a little ways. That's another, 20, 30 feet, so you
Yeah.
can see around the corner before you cross too.
Because basically a lot of the cars that are heading north on Shelton Springs are gonna take that right on the Island Lake Road, meaning the crosswalk will have more traffic if it's on the south side of that intersection as opposed to the north.
Huh?
That's just a
Yeah, I see
suggestion.
what you mean.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Just something to consider.
Yeah.
And you are going to be putting pedestrian pillars in on that walkway, correct? To where you don't have vehicles deciding to, high
Well,
schoolers?
We actually weren't going to start off that way. We were gonna see if it becomes a problem. If there's any problems with any of it, we're gonna fix it, whether it's a drainage issue, whether it's people driving on it or whatever. We'll come up with some sort of a solution to solve it. But we wanna start off just kind of keeping it simple because it may not, we don't wanna solve a problem that doesn't exist.
Sure.
It just costs more money.
Yeah.
I like your suggestion because
I just do that. Obviously, it's the way I walk it every day, so. And I know that's a dangerous intersection to try to get through.
Yeah, and I don't know if the majority of the people that are coming down that side or either side are going onto Island Lake, or they're continuing on towards 101.
It's a combination of.
Yeah, it's
We'll
probably
have to do it.
50,
And as
50.
kids are going home, they are
Yes.
definitely going this direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Because
you know,
they're
if you
in
have to
schools.
do a survey, then it's gonna cost more.
Yeah,
Let's just figure it out on our own.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just a suggestion. I mean, it can be done. There is another crosswalk here, but it's just another crosswalk to have to go across.
Make it common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, a survey for us is sending someone out there for about 3 hours. and
Okay, because
see which
with
way
us,
to-
somebody says a survey and it starts costing money.
Oh, yeah.
No,
In a
we
year and a
want- We want
half.
to keep it simple.
Plan.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's gotta be a
Plan.
plan.
I think personally, it's an awesome idea.
I do too. Yeah, we're on, well, we haven't voted on it, but it sounds like we're in consensus.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll take the comments back to the office, because like I said, we haven't designed the crossing at this point, and I'll bring the comments up. Those are really good comments, and about moving it to the other side, and then we'll go from there. But that's what we're looking at right now, and like I said, we want to try and keep it real simple and
Okay.
keep the cost down and provide a place for people to walk.
Can you get any money from that safe, what's it called, Safe Travels to School initiative or something that was a while back that put together a bunch of,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
The city picked up on that.
City's working on that, and it goes, you can go through like the PRTPO. for
Yeah,
that.
that crosswalk there at the
And they're
junior high
talking
on
about-
Wallace Nealon,
yeah,
they got that money for the Center Road Island, Safety Island.
right.
And they never progressed on it, but they got the money for it, or
Yeah,
got approved for the money.
we submitted our application already for a different road project, so if we were to do that, it wouldn't be till next year.
Yeah. At least that money's out there.
As long as it doesn't convey any additional liability to us,
Yeah, I don't see any problem. Well, thank you very much.
I'm good with it.
My pleasure, thank you.
Thanks.